Welcome back. I'm Jim. Thanks again for joining us. Let's continue our discussion of the installation job aid. Last time, we went over the first 5 steps: preparation, customer confirmation, receiver and connectivity site survey, mounting and cabling site survey, and the pre-installation customer walkthrough. Today, we'll highlight some of the key points that will guide you through steps 6, 7, 8, and 9. These steps will help you with the preparation and installation of the dish, grounding the system, and running the cables. To recap where we are in the installation, we were just explaining the installation plan to the customer, getting their approval, and giving an estimate of the job length. You should have also statused your next customer and put your tablet in standby mode. So let's head back to the van now and get ready to assemble the customer's dish. Keep in mind, this is the first of only 2 trips to the van that you should take during the installation. Step 6 is dish preparation. To begin, set up your work area at the back of your van. If it's not safe to work at the back of your van, work at the side of your van. Use the tips in this part of the job aid to help you gather materials and make a list of the items you'll need to load into your tool belt for the job. First, adjust the skew and elevation on the skew plate to your local standards. Attach the skew plate to the reflector and attach the bracket to the arm. Next, cut and prep the messenger cable using the estimated amount of cable that you got in step 4. Then attach the LNBF to the messenger cable. Attaching the LNBF here will help you avoid losing screws, doing awkward tasks when working at the top of a ladder, and save you time in general. Taking LNBFs on and off at the dish is an unnecessary task that reduces your points per hour. Finally, attach the ground lug or ground screw to the mast. If you're using any specialty mounts, assemble them here. Once you're done, gather up your Super Buddy, the dish assembly with LNBF and dual messenger already attached, and the box of single RG6 cable. Bring all the materials with you to the mount site. If a ladder is needed, you'll have to make a second trip back to the van to get it. Now you're ready for step 7, installing the dish. We'll go over how to mount the most common mount, a direct-to-wall mount. First, find and mark the stud that you'll be using for the dish mount. Note the critical steps that are outlined in this part of the job aid. Make sure that you hit a stud, pre-drill your center holes, and use the correct number of lags. This will help ensure that your dish mount is secure and mounted properly the first time. After you've found the stud, mark the center of the stud. Make sure the mount is level and pre-drill the center 2 holes. Insert silicone into the pre-drilled holes and around the 4 corner holes on the back of the footplate. Then align the footplate with your pre-drilled holes and drive in the first 3-inch lag bolt. After you do this, verify the mast is level. Once it is level, drill in the second 3-inch center lag bolt and then the remaining 4 2-inch lag bolts in the outermost holes. Make sure you hand tighten all of the lag bolts, snug, plus 1/4 turn. Finally, verify the mast is level. If you're installing the .4 with a long mast, the 500 plus or the 1000 plus, struts are required. Attach them to the mast here. Place the dish on the mast and then peak the dish. Remember that a solid dish mount and a properly peaked dish are 2 of the best ways to make sure that there will not be any issues with the system. The steps in the installation job aid not only help you ensure the dish installation is done securely and efficiently, it will also help you avoid signal fails, trouble calls, and service calls. So now that the dish is on the mast, we need to find the best signal available. Connect your Super Buddy and confirm the settings. Point the dish to the optimum signal, and then peak the dish with some fine-tune adjustments. Lock the dish in place, and then make sure to tighten all of the hardware. When the hardware is tightened and the dish is securely installed, move on to step 8, grounding the system. First, attach the messenger wire to the ground screw on the mast, and then run the messenger cable to the ground block. Install the ground block. Remember, the ground block needs to be no more than 20 feet from the ground source. Also, take note to secure the cables every 12 to 24 inches, build 4-inch drip loops below any connections, and torque all outdoor connectors to 30 inch-pounds with your torque wrench. Next, connect the messenger cable to the ground block. Then connect the messenger wire and ground wire to the ground block. On an approved ground source, install the grounding component, such as a split bolt, ground strap, meter box clamp, or corner clamp. Run the ground wire from the ground block and connect it to the grounding component at an approved ground source. Now that you've finished grounding the system, you're ready for step 9, cabling. You need to run the cables into the house. Some houses are pre-wired and the cables have already been run for you. Other times you'll need to run new cables. If the house is pre-wired, use the multi-line identifier to ID the proper lines. Remember, earlier we used a standard color toner cap when we toned out the lines. Now we don't have to try and remember which color we connected in which room, because we know that the brown cap is in the room for TV 1, the red cap for TV 2, and so on. Finish connecting the proper cables to the ground block and/or diplexers. If the house is not pre-wired, you'll need to penetrate the house and run the cables into the necessary rooms. When penetrating the house, keep in mind the following tips. Identify a reference point. Measure the entry and exit points. Drill inside out for wood and drill outside in for brick. When penetrating, make sure to use the following steps. Clear both the penetration entrance and exit. Cut a hole for the cut-in box, inspect for any obstructions, and then drill through the wall. Once the penetrations are drilled, feed the cables through the bushing. Apply silicone to the bushing and insert the cable into the house. Once the cable is in the house, run the remaining exterior cables back to the ground block. Remember to secure the cables every 12 to 24 inches. Connect the cables to the ground block or switch, and the exterior portion of the cabling is complete. Gather up your equipment and clear away your trash. Now you'll need to make your second van run. If you're following the installation job aid correctly, this will only be the second time you've had to go back to the van, unless you're using a ladder. Remember that this job aid was created to help you be as efficient as possible, and minimizing van runs is one of the ways this is accomplished. Once you're back at the van, you'll need to gather up all the items you'll need for the interior work. For instance, receivers, connectivity devices, your tablet, vacuum, SuperBuddy, and any interior cables. If you have more than you can safely carry in one trip, you may take multiple trips to bring in all the interior items. Bringing the tablet and the vacuum in at this step in the process will save you an unnecessary trip to the van later. Once the equipment is inside, begin the interior cabling. Attach any wall plates to the wall and run all interior cables to the TVs. Now you're in the home stretch. We've taken care of steps 6 through 9 in the installation job aid. All that's left is to install and activate the receivers, perform customer education, and take care of the post-installation tasks. These are steps 10, 11, and 12. The tips that we just discussed for dish assembly, dish installation, grounding, and cabling were designed with your success in mind. Use the installation job aid step by step and you will be able to produce efficient, effective installations. That's all for now. Thanks for joining us.